With Miranda Khan, J.D. Hayworth back with you on America's Forum, and also back with us, Skyping in from California, terrorism expert Raymond Ibrahim. Ray, we very much appreciate your time. And to continue the conversation, we were speaking earlier about Egypt's President al-Sisi. Now, Secretary of State John Kerry is traveling to Egypt. Will this administration embrace President al-Sisi in a way that will bring positive change to the region?
Well, again, I always try to go by precedent, and you'll remember at the beginning when Sisi headed the revolution, which was, again, unfortunately the mainstream media misrepresented it and made it look like it was a coup by him. And of course, certainly it was physically his military, he as the leader of the military took over, but there were literally tens of millions, according to objective estimates, of Egyptians in the street supporting him to get rid of the Muslim Brotherhood, which this administration was very much allied with and was very obvious with, especially in the person of Ann Patterson, the U.S. ambassador in Egypt, who was constantly seen with Brotherhood members, not just Morsi as the political leader, but just people who weren't even in his cabinet, but were Muslim Brotherhood ranking members and so forth. And then they, long story short, they have not been supportive originally. Now, of course, they're being more realistic. He's the president of one of the most strategic Arab nations in the world. So they're sort of approaching him. But again, if you look at his recent statements, he's asking for, he's saying Egyptians want to know that America is with them in the fight against terrorism. It's amazing hearing an Arab Muslim leader, supplicating America to help out against Islamic terrorism. But such are the state of affairs that we're in today. So again, and I have to also underscore, as we mentioned, it's not about Sisi so much, because even if you're a big supporter of Sisi, the cops are supporters of Sisi and they're still being attacked, because this sort of cancer that all of them are trying to fight is not something that's easily destroyed or beaten. It's very much, as I was saying, rooted in a certain worldview that is prominent in that region. So it's good to support him, but on the other hand, it's not about him. It's not about one man. It's about something more endemic to the region.
Raymond, I want to get your thoughts. Earlier we were talking to Professor Rabil and getting his insight into what's going on in Iraq and Iraqi militias specifically trying to take back Tikrit, Saddam Hussein's hometown. He believes that there are efforts being made to degrade ISIS, but are enough efforts being made to actually destroy ISIS?
Well, that's the big question. And again, I hate to be like a record about precedent, but again, I think about when the United States invaded Iraq and toppled Saddam Hussein over a decade ago. And you got to remember, at the time, Saddam's army was one of the most powerful in the Middle East at the time. It was well entrenched in the nation. Saddam and the Ba'ath Party were there for decades, and the United States wiped them out in a month, basically. And so now, in the ruins of that, you have this Islamic caliphate, self-styled, which has risen. And I'm trying to understand, how is it that these guys, who are often, at least initially, portrayed as ragtag terrorists and pickup trucks and so forth, why is that so hard to take these guys out, especially when they are really egregiously evil compared to Saddam? He didn't put people in cages and set them on fire, including children, or behead them because they're Christian and so forth. In fact, Christians had it pretty good under Saddam. So the question is, why can't we take them out in a much faster and quicker way in comparison to what we did earlier? And
just a quick answer from you, about 30 seconds on this, Ray. Are you convinced that ISIS is out to exterminate any Christians remaining in the Middle East?
Oh yeah, absolutely. They've said it and they've done it, and they've continued to do it. And remember, real quick, Christianity is Middle East is the birthplace. Christians majority were there. It's been 14 centuries worth of this sort of thing that you're finally seeing. You're watching a chapter of history, actually. This is what's caused places like Syria and Egypt, where Christian majority, to dwindle now to very small minorities, especially, and North Africa, from being a Christian region to being virtually zero. The jihad.
Raymond Ibrahim, we very much appreciate your insight, sir. Thanks for Skyping in from California with us this morning. And for more on the terror threat that ISIS represents and its rise to power, you can get the book Rise of ISIS, A Threat We Can't Ignore, for a deeply discounted price. Simply go to newsmax.com/terror threat. After the break, hey, we could use a laugh. It's been a heavy day. Comedy Corner's next.